Armando, Los Angeles, California, the KABC country. Go.
How you doing, Mr. Levin? I just wanted to tell you that...
Hold on, let me look. We are doing fine. How are you?
Good, sir. I just wanted to say this is my first time calling, and that I try to listen to your show as much as possible.
All right, do me a favor. Try and speak a little louder and a little clearer because it's hard to hear.
Yes, sir. How's that?
All right.
All right. I try to listen to your show as much as possible.
We're losing them.
I am a socialist.
Why?
I do believe in our president.
Hold on a second. Why are you a socialist?
I was raised
forget about that. We all were raised, but you can think for yourself, right?
Okay, yeah, I can. I do believe that in the collective that the body will be better. If the country got...
In the collective, the body will be better, but if the collective includes people with all kinds of rashes and diseases and pimples and all the rest, the collective and the body won't be better.
Well, that's why we need medical care, you know? That's why we need...
Forget about medical care. I'm talking about the health of the body politic, not even the physical health. I'm using your metaphor. In other words, my friend, here's this. Let me try it this way. Do you believe in individual liberty?
To a certain point.
Okay, well then, are you prepared to do what I tell you to do?
Again, to a certain point.
Okay, well, what is that point? In other words, if I tell you it's in the best interest of the collective, what do you do for a living? And I'm not trying to be rude, I'm just curious.
I understand. I'm a truck driver.
Okay, if I say it's in the best interest of the collective to limit the amount of trucks on the road, so you're out, what do you think?
Well, that wouldn't be good for me.
No, it wouldn't be good for you. And you know what? It might not be good for the collective. So who am I to make that decision?
Well, right now we don't have a central authority that makes the collective.
No, but we do have a central authority that makes that decision in Washington, D.C. They determine what kinds of trucks can be on the road, who can drive, how long they can drive, what they can drive. Sure we do.
There's regulation, sure, but, I mean, work hasn't stopped.
No, a regulation is like an 18-wheeler ought to have 18 tires. The guy who drives or gal ought to have a license. Maybe we have some weight issues because of the nature of the material we use to make the roads. I get that. But the regulations that are imposed now are so severe and so difficult. I know, because truckers call here all the time.
Again, I see it just the opposite. I see it as a booming business and everything.
Let me ask you this. Are people imperfect?
Yes.
Is that why we need a collective?
I can almost say yes to that comment. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
I see it.
So people are imperfect, so we need a collective. And yet under this collective, in reality, because as you know, Marxism is a fraud, it's really fascism dressed up as communism. So in this collective that you talk about, somebody has to make decisions, correct?
Yes.
So you would have an imperfect human being who can't possibly know everything that's going on in the collective, who can't possibly have the knowledge that everybody has in their individual lives, their needs and their wants and their desires, their experiences and all the rest that they've been taught and so forth. And suddenly this one person or relative handful of people who are imperfect human beings, you confess, right? Suddenly these relative few imperfect masterminds are going to make decisions for everybody. Why?
No, you're absolutely right when you say about the imperfectness of human beings and the infallibility of thinking that...
That's right. If 1 out of 317 million imperfect human beings makes a mistake, depending on what it is, that's one thing. The society can absorb it. But if that one person is the president with enormous power, it's much more difficult for the society to absorb it.
No, you're absolutely right. But by the same token, through capitalism and through open...
what is capitalism?
I mean, I would say limited government is probably...
What is capitalism?
The business of doing business.
It's not the business of doing business. What is capitalism? Do you even know how to define it?
To define capitalism would be just to say it's...
First of all, capitalism is a word invented by whom? Marx. So let's talk about free market capitalism or... Do you believe in private property rights?
Yes.
Why?
I believe that if you earned the money and you bought the property, it should be yours.
Why?
Because you earned the money and you bought the property.
Because you used You only have so much life on this earth, right? And you used a percentage of your life to work, to use your labor, whether it's physical or intellectual or both, to create something. That something is something you created with your own life's time on earth. Do I say that pretty well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now that said, why should I have somebody in this socialist collective telling me, okay, now give me half of it?
I can't explain the
Isn't that involuntary servitude?
Almost.
No, it's not almost. Particularly if they're using these resources that I created one way or another with this limited time I have on this earth with my intellectual and physical labor. Somebody's telling me, no, we've got to redistribute wealth. I want to fund this program. These people over here deserve that. Why is it believed that these individuals that make all these decisions are virtuous and noble and more perfect than the rest of us?
I guess the only thing I could say to that is Alexander Hamilton's comment of vigor of government is essential to the security of liberty.
I didn't even hear you. Say that again.
The vigor of government is essential.
The what? The what of government?
The vigor.
The vigor. Well, that doesn't answer anything. Government should be vigorous in certain respects. For instance, defending the population against foreign enemies.
What I'm saying is a strong central government is actually needed. Is all I'm
a strong central government is what the Constitution is attempting to prevent, including Alexander Hamilton, who supported the Constitution. Including Alexander Hamilton, who supported it in the New York State ratification conventions, including Alexander Hamilton in the Federalist Papers, who assured the anti-Federalists that the central government wouldn't take over the states. Armando.
Yes, sir.
One word. Liberty. Liberty. That's what makes us different from others. Centralized socialist government, it's been tried, it's a failure, it's miserable. And the people are miserable. When you redistribute wealth, as they claim, what they're really redistributing is misery. Armando, call again, would you?
Thank you so much.
All right, take care. Even the socialist wasn't too bad. You know that, Mr. Producer? I mean, he wasn't obnoxious like most socialists.